the Indiana Fever make it happen, captain, and they take down the second best defensive team in the WNBA. The final score is 92. Again, 92 Indiana Fever, 75 Seattle Storm. Wow. What a game. And to me, this game is in parts, right? I would say I would box up the entire first three quarters in one sort of bucket and say close game, and we'll see who comes out with it, right? The first three quarters, it was close. It was a 1 point game to go into the fourth quarter, and we saw this team, this Indiana Fever team. We saw this team just put on an absolute show. Guys, the score was 58 Seattle, 59 Indiana. For Seattle, they played pretty good defense throughout the three quarters. Good defense, three quarters. They really did try to make it a little bit frantic for the Indiana Fever. They were hedging on screens. They knew the plays that the Indiana Fever were going to run for Caitlin, and they just spoiled it for the first three quarters, right? And the problem with the Seattle Storm is they did not take care of business when they had the opportunity. This is a team that absolutely should have won this game for the Indiana Fever. They should have. For the Seattle Storm. They should have won this game. And you allowed the Indiana Fever to hang on. Yes, you played good defense against them, but you wasn't scoring. You was not scoring. And what happens? As a result, you allow this team to get hot in the fourth quarter and absolutely run you over. Now, guys, again, tale of two sides. The first three quarters, where good defense by Seattle, they weren't able to hit their shots and make some stuff happen on that front. So they kept the Indiana Fever in the game. Fourth quarter comes, guys. And Christie Sides makes a really, really good decision. What does she do? She decides that NaLyssa Smith, who hadn't been playing well the entire game, I guess she was okay, but she. She wasn't really good. NaLyssa Smith had a bad game today. And instead of allowing NaLyssa Smith to play in the fourth quarter, what do? Take her out. All right. And you say, okay, here's what we're going to run with. We're going to bring Lexie Hull in the game for the fourth quarter. We're also going to keep Quita Loves Samulson on the bench. Put Quita Loves Samulson on the bench, and we're going to rock out with that. Okay. So we're going to have Lexie in for Lexie and Damaris Dantas in the game. It was Damaris Dantas, Lexie Hull, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aliyah Boston. And to me, this was a W decision by Christie Sides. This was a smart decision to realize, okay, these two players are not really contributing for me right now. They're not. So you guys go onto the bench. Appreciate y'all, but you go onto the bench. Now, bench players, Damaris Dantas, Lexie Hull, come in this game and take over. Let's make it happen. They come into this fourth quarter. Again, guys, this is a 1 point game. 1 point game, guys. 58 Seattle, 59 Indiana. 1 point game. First thing that comes up is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark does what she does well. She gets to the paint and she scores. Yes, absolutely, Caitlin Clark is a great three-point shooter. Yes, she's a great passer. But this girl can get to the paint and get scores to go. She gets a pass by Kelsey Mitchell, gets a layup to go. Okay, 3-point game. A little bit of momentum, right? And they just sort of go on from there. She hits that layup. On the other end of the court, Jewel Lloyd gets a jumper of her own. It's still 1 point game. And then, guys, the floodgates open. With her first three-pointer of the fourth quarter, Lexie Hull gets a fantastic pass by Caitlin Clark. Now, guys, this was basically a semi-blown play where the Seattle Storm has overly helped on Caitlin Clark, who's like roughly in the corner. She's looking in the paint. Caitlin Clark is looking in the paint to see who she could pass it to. No one was open, but in the side of her eye, she saw that towards the top of the key, she saw that Lexie Hull was ready to go, and she didn't really have anybody on her. Caitlin Clark hits a fantastic pass from she was basically in the corner. Caitlin Clark was to get it sort of towards the top of the key to Lexie Hull. Lexie Hull drains the 3-point bucket. That was the first 3-point bucket of the fourth quarter for Lexie Hull. So she hits that. Boom. You have the energy. You have the crowd is into it. Boom. Lexie Hull, who can hit 3-pointers, but usually, is not crazy impactful. She made it happen with a great basket. All right. You come down the court. Jewel Lloyd is trying to do the one-man band thing. She makes a layup. Great. You come back down. Aliyah Boston has the basketball. I believe she was in the paint. And then she sees, again, sort of in the corner of her eye of sorts, she sees Lexie Hull, who is open at the 3-point line in the corner. Lexie Hull gets the pass, drains the 3. She was ready. Lexie Hull is a player who the way that Indiana sort of runs their offense, you see Lexie sort of standing on the 3-point line quite often, right? Quite often. But she doesn't hit her shots like she hit them today. She hit the 3-point basket. Great pass by Aliyah Boston to Lexie Hull for a 3-point shot. Great. Guys, now guys, this is momentum for the Indiana Fever. At this point, they're winning by 6. All right. This is a 6-point game. And again, to start off the quarter, Caitlin Clark scores, gets a layup. Then Lexie Hull starts going off. Then Caitlin Clark gets a floater jump shot to go. All right. Still, this Indiana Fever team is building momentum, and making the runs happen. And then Kelsey Mitchell was like, you know what? I want to get in action, right? I want to get in action in the fourth quarter. We got Caitlin getting those 2s in. We got Lexie Hull getting those 3s in. I want to get a 3-point shot too. So Kelsey Mitchell gets a 3-point shot off of a great pass by Aliyah Boston. And now this team is rolling. Absolutely rolling. Jewel Lloyd is trying to be a one-man band for Seattle, but it's just not enough. And the score just keeps on compounding. Aliyah Boston gets into action as well, scoring a jumper, and it just went back to what it was earlier in the fourth quarter. Lexie Hull hits another 3-point basket. Aliyah Boston with a great pass. Guys, with 4 minutes left in this game, the score was 81 to 69, guys, with 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. 81 for the Indiana Fever to 69 for the Seattle Storm. Guys, again, remember, this was a 1-point game to start the quarter. This is a 1-point game. All of a sudden, this Indiana Fever team put their foot on the gas, got stops on the defensive end. They went out in transition. They ran really, really good half-court offense, and they were exploiting what the Seattle Storm was doing. It took them three quarters to figure this out, to figure how basically the Seattle Storm was hedging a lot. They were trying to they were using their active hands to distract Indiana from the fact that they usually had a man open, right? And finally, in that fourth quarter, they were able to get it to the man open, which was Lexie Hull, and get her involved. And that just sort of like opened the floodgates for this team. Lexie Hull hit another 3-point shot in that fourth quarter. And guys, of course, Caitlin also has to get a 3-point shot as well. So she got a 3-pointer as well. And it was just a 3-point show. It was just a 3-point show because you had Lexie Hull hitting 3-point shots like crazy. You had Kelsey Mitchell get a 3-point shot. You had Caitlin Clark get a 3-point shot. You had Damaris Dantas get a 3-point shot. Caitlin Clark, of course, scored as well. Aliyah Boston, of course, scored 2 pointers as well. But guys, this is the perfect game for this Indiana Fever. This is a perfect game because this showed them that all you got to do is stay in there. Just stay in there. Yes, you missed layups. Yes, you missed 3-point shots early in the game. Yes, absolutely. You struggled early in the game because of the defense that Seattle was playing against you. But all you have to do is stay close enough. Stay close enough and then try to figure it out as the game goes. And they finally figured it out in the fourth quarter. Shots were falling and they absolutely made stuff happen. Now, guys, I know a lot of people are not going to, a lot of y'all are probably not going to credit Christie Sides at all for this win. You're probably not. You're probably just going to be like, oh, Christie Sides ain't got nothing to do with it. I still want her to get fired and all this stuff. No, guys. I thought that the personnel adjustments and the heads-up nature of this Indiana Fever team in this fourth quarter was a difference maker. It was a difference maker, guys. It was, because we saw that there were opportunities in the first three quarters, but Indiana couldn't get it to the right man at the right time. In the fourth quarter, what'd they do? Have their heads up. Yes, Caitlin always has her head up, but they realized that on these pick and roll actions that they run, there's someone open. When Aliyah Boston has the basketball, the focus is on her and on Caitlin, right? There's usually on the opposite side of the court, there's usually somebody open. Who was open? Lexie Hull. And Lexie Hull was ready to go, and she hit those shots. And again, guys, when we talk about this squad, this is a squad that kind of has a normal rotation of like NaLyssa and Aliyah Boston. But what was realized is that NaLyssa Smith was not impactful today. What do? You put in Damaris Dantas, who y'all may not know that much about Damaris Dantas, but Damaris Dantas can play. She can. She's a veteran player who can hit threes. Yes, sometimes she misses some shots, but in general, she is a impactful player. And she was impactful today. So to me, I give Christie Sides credit for this game. I do. And I want to make sure that it's important that, sure, it's fine for fans to be very critical about coaches and whatnot, but it's also important for you to give props where props are due. And I thought that she did a really good job in that fourth quarter with making the personnel adjustments and sort of, I assume, telling the squad to, hey, look up. Lexie Hull is open on the opposite side. Look for her. When Aliyah Boston had the ball, what did she do? She found Lexie Hull. Caitlin found Lexie Hull. That's what you do. Now, guys, let's get to some of the stats. Let's get to some of the stats, guys. What a fantastic game. To me, in my opinion, player of the game goes to Lexie Hull. Because Lexie Hull is she's a player who is not that much of a scorer. She's a player who could play defense, and she sometimes scores, but not really, guys. Before this game, guys, the most points that Lexie has scored this season was 10, guys. She comes into this game averaging 3.7 points a game. 3.7. That's it for Lexie Hull. And today, Lexie Hull got on her big one. She hit 6 of 7 three-point baskets today. Lexie Hull finished the game with 22 points. 22 points. Player of the game for Lexie Hull. 22 points. Yeah, sure. It's not the most points on the team. Yeah, sure. Caitlin and Kelsey Mitchell scored more than that. But you expect Kelsey Mitchell, you expect Caitlin to give you close to 20, right? You expect them to have a really good game. But Lexie Hull, no one expected that. Now, guys, when Lexie was at Stanford, she could shoot. She's a scorer. She could make stuff happen. She could make stuff happen when she was in college. Coming into the WNBA, yeah, sure, she could play good defense. Yeah, she can hit shots every now and then. But at the end of the day, she was not that impactful of a player. She wasn't. She just wasn't. But guys, the performance that she put on today was absolutely masterful. Again, guys, 22 points, 6 of 7 from the three-point line for Lexie Hull. She went 8 of 10 in the game. I thought she was fantastic. I did. I thought she was fantastic, not just on the offensive end. on the defensive end as well. She drew a charge. She sat down on defense and moved her feet. Like she's a good player. And today I thought she did her thing. So absolutely, in my opinion, player of the game. Even though she doesn't score the most points in the game, player of the game goes to Lexie Hull. She had 21 minutes in this game. 21 minutes, 22 points. If that don't say impactful, I don't know what does. I don't know what does if that does not say impactful. Also, she got a block in there, so that's cool. But anyway, 20 for her plus and minus. She was great. She was absolutely great. Another player off the bench that did her thing for this Indiana Fever team was Damiris Dantas. I talked about her in her performance in the fourth quarter, but I thought Damiris Dantas had some really good minutes as well. They didn't need her to score a ton. They just needed her to be active on both the offensive and defensive end. She finished with 8 points. So Damiris Dantas and Lexie Hull scored all of the bench points. They scored all of the bench points for this Indiana Fever squad. And I thought Damiris Dantas, yes, she did miss, especially there was one layup that she missed that she absolutely should have made. But in general, I thought she played well today. I thought she did. She definitely played well. Now, guys, let's get to the starters. First of all, Aliyah Boston. Aliyah Boston finished with 9 points in this game, 15 rebounds. Now, guys, I will say, yes, Aliyah Boston did not have the best in terms of scoring for this game. However, I thought she was good. I thought she did what she needed to do. She got those rebounds, and that's what this team needed. They needed her to dominate the boards, and that's what she did. She played her role well. It is not... I think some people think that it's a failure if a player does not have more than 10 points at the end of the game. For me, no. For me, it's not about points. It's not about stats in general. It's about impact. And I thought that Aliyah Boston had some really good impact. I thought that she had some really good impact in this game, not just on the boards, but also, guys, Aliyah Boston. She had her head up and she passed that basketball. 8 assists, guys. 8 assists for Aliyah Boston. 8, guys. What we talking about here? Aliyah Boston with 8 assists. Guys, usually she averages 2.7 assists per game. That's what she averages. Yeah, sure, she could pass. She always could pass, but she wasn't passing like that. But today, Aliyah Boston was like, you know what? I'm going to pass that ball. I'm going to pass that ball and I'm rebound. That's what I'm doing. And she did it spectacularly. So I would say this was a big game for Aliyah Boston. I thought she made stuff happen for her team and was very, very impactful. Yes, sure, whatever. She doesn't score 10 points. But it's not all about that. It's not. In my opinion, it's not. I know some people that's all they think about, that's all they care about. However, it's more than that. It's the whole ecosystem of how you are playing. And I thought she was huge today. Not just from a passing perspective, not just from a defensive perspective, not just from a rebounding perspective. I thought the way that she played, the way that she was thinking through the game, the way that she was not really making mistakes, that's exactly what you need from Aliyah Boston. That's what you need. And I thought she was huge for this team today. Huge. Next up, guys, Kelsey Mitchell. I thought Kelsey Mitchell, Kelsey Mitchell is a big bucket maker. That's what she did, guys. 27 points for Kelsey Mitchell. She was 5 of 8 from the 3-point line. And that's what you do. That is what you do. She was hitting those shots, guys. That's what she does. She did miss one layup early in the game. Caitlin Clark, it was a fantastic dime by Caitlin. And Kelsey missed it. And I think the rest of her game was her making up for that missed layup. I think the rest of her game today was making up for that missed layup. And again, not only was she scoring, she also just again made an impact on this team. She had 3 assists, which is pretty decent for her. She doesn't. I mean, she's not getting assists like that in games, but to me, I thought she was looking for her teammates and making stuff happen. So again, Kelsey Mitchell, she hits big buckets, she makes shots, and that's what she did today. That is what she did today on the 3-point line, guys. Overall, this Indiana Fever team shot the three ball so well. 48% from the three-point line for this Indiana Fever team. 48%, guys. And a huge amount of that was between two players. It was between Lexie Hull and Kelsey Mitchell. Those two players, dominant, man. Dominant. I'm just saying, guys. I am just saying. 18 points from the three-point basket for Lexie Hull. And for Kelsey Mitchell, 15 points. So Lexie gives you 18 from the three-point land. Kelsey gives you 15. Huge. You're going to get W's with that. 15 of Kelsey's 27 points were from the three-point line. And 18 of Lexie's 22. It's ginormous. That is ginormous for this squad. Now, save the PG one for last because I thought Caitlin Clark had a really, really good game. Really good game. Now, guys, when we talk about Caitlin Clark, yeah, sure. She's long three-point shot maker, all that good stuff. I felt like early in the game, it felt like she was kind of forcing it a little bit. She was getting frustrated and forcing it. But the thing I love about Caitlin is her ability to adjust. Her ability to adjust and see what the refs are doing, see what they're calling, see what they're not calling. And yes, she still complains, but her game changes because of it. And that was good to see. I thought that once again, she continues to be a masterful passer. Probably would have gotten at least 12 assists if it wasn't for like missed shots and whatnot. But overall, I thought she was fantastic in this one. 23 points, 9 assists, I should say, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, which is like for some reason Caitlin be getting these blocks, man. I don't know, man. Like she be getting block shots. It's just with Caitlin Clark, the assists are not the same. Yeah, sure. People, sure, you could pass someone the ball and you get an assist. But, like, the way that she sees the court and some of the passes that she makes is like, whoa, how'd you see that? Whoa, how'd you thread the needle like that? Like whoa. You know, it's kind of crazy sometimes to just sort of see an assist is not just a regular assist when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Usually, it's very, 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 very impressive. Very, very, very impressive. She had plus 18 in this game. Now, guys, I talked about the players who I thought played really well in this game for the Indiana Fever. Now, guys, let's talk about the players who struggled. And to me, there were 2 huge players who are really not doing, okay? That is NaLyssa Smith and Katie Lou Samuelson. Now, NaLyssa Smith and Katie Lou Samuelson, again, it's not about the points. It's about impact. Again, it's not about the points. It's about impact. Now, I thought both of them did a pretty good job rebounding the ball, but that was where the impact basically left. They both started the game, Katie Lou Samuelson and NaLyssa Smith. And usually Katie Lou is not scoring like that. She's usually not. But NaLyssa Smith, you usually do get a little bit more. You do get more from NaLyssa Smith on a night in and night out basis. I thought she was just horrible today. Like, she just wasn't good. She usually averages 11 points a game. And she just seemed off. She seemed off. Wasn't really hitting shots. Katie Lou Samuelson as well. Wasn't really hitting shots. It's one of those things where if they're not careful, if those two, NaLyssa Smith and Katie Lou Samuelson, if y'all not careful, Damaris Johnson's about to take your spot, NaLyssa. She about to take your spot in the starting lineup. Katie Lou, Lexie Hull about to take your spot. All right? I'm just saying. Like, they got to get it together. This was a very, very, very bad game by both of those. And they have more in them. They're a better team than that. They're a better team than what we saw today. Yes, they get the job done on the rebounding front. That's not the issue. Because both of them, they can rebound. Yes, absolutely. They gave you some good rebounds today. For Katie Lou, she had 6 rebounds in this game. NaLyssa Smith, she had 7. But again, guys, it really is all about impact. And to me, I didn't think they were that impactful. I didn't. Personally, I didn't. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything continues, but wasn't a good game for them. But every time, people have bad games sometimes. It's not that big of a deal. But I just wanted to sort of point that out. Now, guys, let's get to the super chats, and then I have one thing to say about Caitlin that maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know. All right, so let's get to y'all comments. ABZ says Fever went from rebuild to compete now in one season. I mean, sure, they're competing now. I mean, you mean compete for a WNBA championship? No, I don't think they're going to do that. No, but yeah, they can definitely compete with teams though. They definitely can. Adrian says the Storm looked like they were struck by a tornado. Yeah, they did. In that full quarter, they did. It was like a buzzsaw. It was a buzzsaw, and they couldn't do nothing about it. But thank y'all so much, ABZ and Adrian, for those super chats. Thank you, Three Diglets, for the super chat. Says, before the game started, there was one word that came to mind: redemption. Fever should have never lost to the Storm the first two times. Clark for Rookie of the Year, MVP, and President of the United States. Autograph all the babies. Three Diglets is excited. Three Diglets says, Caitlin for Rookie of the Year, MVP, and President of the United States. Oh, man. Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat, says, that's a dub. Lexie killed it. She did. She absolutely did. Yeah. El Professor says, Lexie was playing NBA Jam. She was on fire. Yeah, she was. Absolutely. She was on fire, making it happen, Captain. Thank you so much for the super chat. Future Goat says, I feel inspired after winning this game. Wow. Love it, love it, love it. Future Goat says, I'm mad that I'm starting to like Christie. Why? No need. I feel like sometimes she gets undue hate sometimes. Sometimes she be doing some silly stuff. But a lot of times I do feel like it's undue hate. But yeah, I thought she did a good job coaching, especially in that fourth quarter. The adjustments, the personnel changes that they made, I thought it was smart, in my opinion. LSU Tiger 2, thank you so much for the super chat, says, this might sound weird, but Lexie and Caitlin have become great friends, and I think it's elevating Lexie's game. Possibly. I don't think that sounds weird at all, actually, LSU Tiger 2. Because we saw during the Olympic break, I saw some photos and videos of them hanging out together. I think one was they were on a boat or something. But yeah, they have definitely gotten closer as friends. And having a really good relationship with your point guard, not only does it enhance their confidence in you, but it also just makes you a lot more comfortable too. So I think they probably it probably is helping her game. It probably is. Kierland says, do you think the slow pace was a size call? Possibly, yeah. Because hey, you can't always run with the Seattle Storm team. They're really good. So in the half court offense, let's set up something. Let's run some interesting stuff and keep your eyes up for the opposite side of the court where likely Lexie Hull will be open for the 3-point shot. James says, no crying about playing the bench sooner. Thank you so much for the super chat. Future Goat says, Aliyah's game IQ led this team to the win. Facts. Yeah, facts. She has really good basketball IQ. Yeah. Inspector says, subscribe and like. Yeah, if y'all could, please hit that subscribe button. Also, please hit that like button. That really does help the channel out a whole lot. Future Ghost says, I talked much trash about Christie. Now I switched up. Well, at least you admit it. Future Ghost. At least you admit it. And guys, that was kind of my thoughts about this game. Now, guys, I do want to talk about something that could come back to bite the Indiana Fever / Caitlin Clark. The fact that once again, Caitlin Clark has gotten a technical foul. She got a technical foul in that second half. Her argument sort of started when Aliyah Boston got called for a foul, and Caitlin was very, very upset about that, and that just sort of spiraled. She ended up hitting the padding on the basket. She ended up hitting that in frustration, and she got called for the technical foul. Now, guys, this is her 5th technical foul. Caitlin Clark has 5 technical fouls in this season so far. Guys, a thing to note, guys, is technical fouls can come out to bite you. Because once you get 7 technical fouls, you are suspended for a game. So Caitlin has to be careful She has to be careful, and she has to watch herself, because you can and you will get suspended for a game if you get 7 technical fouls. So that is a thing to note. That is a thing to note. She does not. She wants to kind of keep her anger together, keep her emotions in check a little bit, because you do not want to get that 7th technical foul, because you will be out for a game. Now, I understand the passion. I get it. I have no problem with players showing a lot of passion, but in the back of your mind, you just got to be careful. You got to be careful. Got to be careful, because you do not want to get that 7th. Because who's to say if she gets a 7th, that next game is a critical must win, and you wind up losing because Caitlin's not there. So I think that's something that she has to keep in her mind. FM says, Quita, how much money you want to bet she will not get the 7th? I don't bet. I don't do sports betting. I think she will get the 7th before the season's over. Personally, I think she will get the 7th. But I don't bet, so I put no money on it. All right. But yeah, that's kind of the Indiana Fever and how they played today. For the Seattle Storm, they played defense good the first 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter they just played terrible. I mean, it was absolutely horrible the way that they played. It became the Jewel Lloyd show, and yes, Jewel Lloyd is their number 1 player, right? And but the other players were not getting as involved. And this version of the Seattle Storm, they can't just rely on Jewel Lloyd, because she can't just do it on her own. She had 26 points in this game. A good amount of that was done in the fourth quarter. There needs to be more. There were missed shots throughout the game by Skylar Diggins-Smith. She does end up with 15 points, but there were a lot of missed shots, a lot of missed 3-point shots from Skylar. They need more from her on the offensive end. They also need more from Ezi Magmagor and Nneka Ogwumike. There were opportunities for Nneka, missed shots. Ezi Magmagor she didn't really attempt that many shots. She didn't. So that's the thing. And they need, this Seattle Storm team is a really good defensive team, but sometimes I feel like they can sort of rest on their defensive laurels and not score. You got to score. You got to score, guys. If Seattle would have put this team away in the first 3 quarters, it would have been fine. But they allowed the Fever to stay in this game. Not because the Fever was doing something offensively. Nah, they were getting controlled offensively. It was a fine game offensively, and defensively for the Seattle Storm. It was just they offensively were not able to score like that. They weren't able to put the game away, and then the fourth quarter comes, and then the Fever's a buzzsaw, comes in and scores 33 points in this fourth quarter. 33 points for this Indiana Fever team. 33, fourth quarter. The Seattle Storm only scored 17. You have to score. Yes, you're good on defense. That's not a problem. But you have to score the basketball. You have to. Otherwise, you're screwed. Otherwise, yeah, sure, you'll be the best, the second or third best defensive team in the WNBA and still lose. I'm just saying, you got to score the basketball, and hopefully they can convince Gabby Williams to join their team, because they need her. They really do need her. Now, guys, that's kind of my thoughts on this game. Now, at the end of the game, there's a little bit of a issue, I guess, of sorts, between Noelle Quinn and Christie Sides. The confusion and the issue was that Noelle Quinn was upset at Christie Sides for allowing her starters to stay in the game. So there was a timeout that Noelle Quinn called, and during that timeout, she swapped out her starters and put the bench players in. This is when the game was basically over. I think it was like a minute left or something like that. And Noelle for Seattle puts in all the bench players, and at the time, the Fever still had their starters in the game. But eventually, Christie Sides ends up taking those players out. But that was the issue. It seemed like that was the issue, that Noelle Quinn was upset about that. Like, hey, you were supposed to have taken your players out. Why in the world you keep your starters in the game? It's sort of like an unwritten rule where like coaches get all up in their feelings when other coaches do certain stuff. So is one of those things where it's like the same thing where like in the NFL, the game is over, and you don't kneel, you run a play. Like you beat the team by 20 points, you got the ball, time is winding down. Instead of the quarterback kneeling, the quarterback runs the play, and then the other coach on the opposite team is pissed. They're really mad. And they're like, "How dare you do this?" And it's like, and then when they meet together at half court, at the half of the field, they're upset. It's a similar thing. Like coaches pick a sport, any sport. There's certain sort of unwritten rules, and if you go against those unwritten rules, the opposite coach is gonna get really mad at you. Like it's just a thing. Like you can call it petty or whatever. It's just what coaches do. Like pick a sport, any sport. They all get up in their feelings if the other coach does certain stuff. It is what it is. But anyway, guys, that is that's the game right there. That is the game. Let's get to y'all comments. Thank you so much, Reggie, for the super chat. Says, I think the WNBA will rescind that technical. Kaylin acted out due to missing a shot, not due to a ref's call. Shout out to you for your dedication. Well, thank you, Reggie. I don't think the WNBA is going to rescind that, though. I don't think they're going to rescind that. It doesn't matter, like, the reason for her hitting the what is that called? It's the padding below the rim. Like, I don't think it matters the reason. She did it. The refs took exception to it, especially because right before that, she had been complaining for like 2 whole minutes to the refs. So she was complaining. So she was sort of getting up, all upset at them. And so after she did that, they called the tech. I mean, I don't know how you rescind that. Like, I don't think the WNBA will. I think they'll keep it. It's very rare for the WNBA to rescind technicals. They do it sometimes, but for the most part, they don't rescind them for the most part. Though sometimes they do. All right. Thank you so much, Kieran, for the super chat. Says, coach's confrontation at the end. I heard Sides say, "Oh, coach, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do when winning this much at the end. My bad." Is this true? Did Christie Sides really say that? If so, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. That is hilarious if that really is what she said. But yeah, guys, that's the game. I really do thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I do. Guys, this has been me doing play-by-play of the Indiana Fever versus the Seattle Storm. The final score is 92 Indiana Fever, 75 Seattle Storm. This Indiana Fever team go on a 33-17 run in the fourth quarter to ultimately close out this game. This is a fun one. Hope y'all were entertained because I surely was. Whether it was that fantastic block by Ezzie Magmagor, like, guys, Ezzie Magmagor's block on Caitlin Clark, on Katie Lou Samulson, it was fun to see. Ezzie Magmagor, definitely in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. She does her thing all the time. She finishes this game with 5 blocks. Count them, 5 blocks. Yeah, she didn't score that much, but she got it done with the blocks, and it was fun to see. I love to see an Ezzie Magmagor block because it always comes out of nowhere, but yet you always know it's coming. You always know it's coming, but you just never know when. And then she comes out of nowhere, block. It's fun to see. It really is fun to see. Guys, I will see y'all soon. I'll see y'all later. I'll be on the call for the Sky versus Phoenix Mercury game that's happening later today. So y'all can rock with me there. I've already put in the link for that game, so y'all can go to my channel and click to notify yourself. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all so much for walking with me. Have a fantastic day, guys. Happy Sunday. Hope y'all are doing well, guys. Be kind to people. Be respectful, especially in comments. Be respectful to people. Be respectful to people in real life, guys. The thing to note is I would love for you all to enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. Be happy. Be well. Guys, tell somebody that they matter because they really do. And if no one has told you today, you matter. You are important, and I'm happy that you are on this earth, guys. I love you, but most importantly, Jesus loves you. Until next time, guys, I will see y'all soon. Bye-bye.